Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ben, and this is 3T's Mobile Automotive Repair. Today is Wednesday, April 9th. It's approximately 8 a.m., and we are headed to our first job. All right, first job of the day. We've got this Acura 2011. Complaint is no AC, and it will not stop blowing out of the front vents. It doesn't go to defrost. So when his wife gets in the vehicle, it doesn't work at all. And right now, compressor's not even working. I think I got it turned on. I got to double check real quick. Yeah, AC on, but I got no pump pressure in here at all. I've got plenty of pressure in the system, but I have no compressor engagement, I don't think. Yeah, nothing. All right, so we got to check into that real quick. So that's the first part of our diagnosis. The other two jobs I have are right across the street. I don't know if you can see them, but those two cars right there, I got to look at those next. So it's nice when you have really good customers that give you complete word of mouth, and they tell their friends and their neighbors and everything. So anyway, let's get looking at this thing and see what we got to do. So the Acura MDX needs a compressor. The clutch, even though it has backfeed through, the clutch doesn't work. So we have ground backfeeding through it. We have control now, and everything electronically works, but he needs also a mode actuator. So we're going to send them an estimate for that and kind of go from there. So I got to go across the street and overlook one real quick for him, but then drive the other. He says he has a grinding noise on the brakes. So we'll go check that out and see what's going on. Okay, well, I took a look at those cars. Not really something we're going to do anything with. But right now, we are headed over to, this is not a customer. This is actually something personal for me. My youngest son is 17 and he's got to start driving. So I'm going to look at a car that is needs a transmission. It's an older Toyota Camry, and he just needs something that's going to be relatively reliable. So we're going to go look at this thing and see if it's worth a damn. If it is, I'll buy it. If it's not, then we'll move on and find something else another day. All right, well, that was the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen in my life. But no big deal. That's what you get when you're looking for a car that needs work. I don't buy my kids new cars. They get stuff like we had growing up. They get something that they can learn some humility with. Something that isn't perfect and, you know, is not the most shiniest thing in the world, and they just have to deal with it because their dad can fix it for them, and that part's at least okay. But they need to learn that, you know, this is what we had, this is what you're gonna have. So besides that, we're on to our next job, which is at a motor, it's not a mobile home park. What the hell is it called? An RV park. Oh my word, my brain. Well, I hope you can hear that, because that is insanely loud. Very. Where do you live? Canada. Yeah. Jeff, quit sending your customers down here. The compressor on that, the bolts are damn near disintegrated. I don't even know how the compressor is still being held in there, but it's internally locking up, and I chose to walk away from that job. Not in a bad way, but just I'm not working on it. I'm not going to get stuck and married to something where the person doesn't live here and it's not in their yard. They live in Canada. I'm not going to make it so that their vehicle is broke down and they can't go home. That's too stressful to me, and I'm not dealing with it. So we're done with that one. Headed on to the next one. This is a Dodge Ram. It's actually a long form content video, so I got to go do the repair on it. I'm not going to talk much about it here because I don't want to ruin that video for you. So stay tuned for this video to come out soon. I don't know when it'll come out, but hopefully sometime at the end of the week. All right, so just finishing up my paperwork side here, getting all of my notes written up, and just making sure our ticket is where it needs to be. So we're done with this job. It runs good. It's got a few quirks and issues. Not sure what the customer's aware of. I've never seen this truck before. They are a previous customer, but from a different car. So I've never looked at the truck before. So we've got an ABS light on. The left front wheel speed sensor circuit's open. Power steering makes noise, hard to turn a bit. And the vehicle has a slight surge to it when you come to a stoplight. So those are all things that are outside of what the original diagnosis was. So if they want us to deal with it, they will need to pay for us to diagnose the vehicle. But all right, so that Dodge Ram is done. It now runs, so that's good. There will be a long form content on that coming out soon. I don't know when, but I'm just eating some lunch real quick, answering text messages and, you know, phone calls, and doing my typical thing that I do in the afternoons, and just kind of go from there. All right, so just to give you an update, today is a rough day for me, right? So if you guys had started listening to the podcasts that I mentioned listening to, there was actually one on yesterday that was a little bit about mental health and stuff. And it's funny because today is one of those days for me. I can't mentally quite get into it today. I'm struggling a bit, and that it happens. So I'm coming on here to talk about it because it'll help me relieve some of those frustrations so I can try to get back on track. So you're going to have to deal with me ranting about it a little bit here. But the mental health game in this industry, especially when you're alone doing this yourself, it can be very daunting, especially when you're running a company and you're trying to take care of your family and everything else. So it's not for me today, it's not a depression or an anxiety style of of mental health. It's more of, I can't seem to get in a good groove today, right? The first job, the MDX, was kind of pissing me off a little bit, I'll be honest, because the information was not available, okay? When I say the information, I mean on the scanner. Originally, I had no control over the compressor, and it was pissing me off that I couldn't go look at an evaporative temperature sensor, and I couldn't look at my pressures because, one, the Autel didn't show it, and two, the snap-on just wouldn't load. For some reason in the HVAC module, the snap-on would not load the data at all. And in the Autel, it showed 2 data pins. Nothing to what I needed in order to properly diagnose the car. Now, it's not even a newer car. It's a 2011, right? So that was getting me very frustrated because I'm like, are you freaking kidding me now? Like, you got these tools that are supposed to do this job, and sometimes those tools do fail us. So we have to go back to basics, and we have to go look for the sensors and test them independently. You have to know your circuit design and all that stuff, and that's great, but that's not what I expected when I got to the job. So sometimes when things go wrong when you're in the field like this, you have to learn to adapt. So I did learn to adapt on that job, but it was very frustrating and kind of driving me nuts. And that set my course for the day of frustration. Now, the second part that is kind of feeding into that frustration is communication, right? Communication with my customers. The RV that I just went and looked at, he didn't say anything about a noise. He said that he put refrigerant in the vehicle before he came down here from Canada, and that he was worried that he wasn't going to make it home with it having a leak. So he wanted us to come out and do an evacuation and recharge on the system. Well, that's not what he said when I got there. So not even close to what was told to me. So that makes my dollar change in how we set up our week, right? So these are the ones that kind of like, okay, that's not what you told me. And the same thing with the Acura, okay? The Acura, he told me he had a bunch of lights on the dash and the AC didn't work. And he said the AC was not blowing on the defrost. He never said that it wasn't cold. I even asked him if it was cold and he said yes. So when that happens, sometimes I can reel on those things and it really will frustrate me. So now my day where I expected to be in a certain place financially, I am not. And that bothers me because that makes me start to question everything. Like, man, am I doing the right thing, right? Where did I screw up? What did I do wrong, right? So there is those things. But if I think back to it, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't change the way I run the company or do anything inappropriate. I asked my questions. I made sure I asked all the questions to these customers in advance, and they didn't give me the answer. So now when I show up, there's nothing more frustrating than a customer that's like, oh, by the way, I've got this, or oh, by the way, I've got this. And it's like, I asked you these questions on the phone and you said none of that. So both of those, they said the AC worked and that there was no noises. And as soon as I get to that damn RV, that's all he says. Oh, well, it's the noise that's bothering me. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, what are you talking about, a noise? You didn't say anything about a noise. You said the system worked flawlessly, except you had to fill it up when you came down. So I'm expecting RV, evacuate and recharge with, 4 pounds of refrigerant. That's a really good ticket. But no, now it's not that ticket because I'm not selling refrigerant and I can only do my checkout time for that. That's all I can charge him. I can't charge him the evacuate, recharge, refrigerant, and checkout. I don't get to do that now. So a big loss on that. And that can get my head going. So just so you know, if you're doing this or you want to be in this industry, you're going to have to deal with how to handle these things on the fly like that. And that is another reason why I can't wait until this seat is filled with my wife, because I can talk to her about those things as we go through our day. And she knows how to calm me down and help me through those situations. Right now, the only person I can talk to is you guys. Even though you guys aren't here right now, I'm just talking to the camera. In reality, it does help a little bit. So just know that mental health game is a real thing. And today I'm just having a hard time getting over that hurdle. And I'm hoping the rest of my day will be a little bit better and we can start recovering some of the lost money. But I have a feeling today is not going to be the greatest revenue day in the world, which again, when you're in business, this happens. Every day can't be rainbows and sunshines. Sometimes it's just cloudy and it rains. Simple as that. But anyway, I'm at my next job. I'm gonna go take care of this and I'll see you guys in a bit. Anyway, I'm at my next job. I don't remember what number this job is of the day, so I do apologize for that. But this one here, customer wants us to look at a wiring repair they did. See if it's up to par or if it's needs to be fixed. So we're gonna go check this thing out and see what they did. Okay, so yes, it's just a little wiring repair that we're gonna do. We're just gonna do some insulationless, non-insulated connectors and some heat shrink just to get this thing back on the road. Pretty basic, simple repair. It's a little wire that broke in there. I will go show it to you real quick so I can go ahead and get it done. But they soldered it themselves and it wasn't really a good solder job. So it came apart right here. They had rodent damage, so they decided to try to fix it themselves, but no big deal, it didn't work out. So I'm gonna fix this real quick. We'll get done with this one and we'll head on to the next job. Something else I want to complain about, which my own fault. You get what you pay for, right? But Harbor Freight, I have my boxes, right? They're from US General. So I have a problem with this box. This one and this one, these lock latches under here, under the handles, are broken. And they've been broken for a while. Well, the top one was broke for a while. Now the bottom, the second one is broke. And I know I'm rough on my shit, but the problem that I have with Harbor Freight in this situation is they don't sell the parts. I was on the phone with them yesterday. This in particular cabinet, this item number, there's either 6 or 7 UPC codes for it. No matter which one you look up, there is no part available for these as far as repairing this. And the lady's blatantly on the phone when I called. She said, well, it depends on which manufacturer we get it from and if they sell the parts for it. So, I mean, I don't know how that inner workings of that work because that's not my business, but that seems pretty crappy. Like, I got a, whatever this is, $300 or $400 tool cart here that the simplest plastic drawer latch breaks and you don't sell a repair for it. You don't sell the part. So now I've got 2 of them and I have no way of fixing these drawers. I'm going to have to drill and do weird stuff to fix the latches or try to find, she told me, you should go online and look for a third-party company that makes the latches for these. Really? That's your fix for it? Like, come on. Harbor Freight has been doing much better over the years and not selling and doing as much junk tools, but their US General cart thing here, obviously the weak point is the freaking drawer latch, and now I can't get it, so I'm stuck using bungee cords or whatever other stupid contraption I go figure out. Otherwise, I got to upgrade it and change it to a Snap-on or a Mako or something like that. That's not going to freaking break. So, anyway, that's my rant. I'm done. This car's done. It's running. I'm going to double check on codes and clear them out, and then I'm going to get out of here and get to the next job. All right, we are done there. Heading to our next job, which is the one you saw me look at last week. It was the... I don't even know what kind of car it is, but it's the door lock actuator that keeps getting stuck. So we've got new door lock actuator with cables. We're gonna go rip that door panel off, get that replaced, and then get on to our next job, which I have no idea what it is. So let's go see what we got to do on this door lock. All right, so here is our new one. It's got our 3 cables attached. All this stuff and this one. Yeah, fun stuff. So, okay, we're in the car and I got everything semi put back together, but here's our lock. Everything works. Let me grab my keys. Oops. So we're good. Everything's done. I'm gonna put the door panel back on, get paid, and get on to the next job. All right, that's done. We're paid. We're on to the next one. All right, so this truck, it's a some year Silverado. Let's see what we got. It's a 2014 Silverado 5.3. Check engine light's flashing, definitely misfiring. You can hear a little bit of a tick in there, or a pretty heavy tick in there. Come on, I don't care about all this stuff. I gave you the VIN number, figure it out. So we're gonna check on codes, just make sure some misfire data. He says it's on cylinder 6. So we're gonna go confirm that. If that is the case, we're gonna do, all right, sorry. So we're gonna do a relative compression test. So yeah, cylinder 6, he's got a dead freaking misfire to it. So let me get set up and I'll show you the relative compression test real fast. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this. I'm fully set up on a whatever compression test this is called. Why is my brain so freaking blank right now? A relative compression test. Oh my word. So I got it all set up. I already ran it, but I'll show it to you real quick. So it's on play. You can literally hear it. But I don't even need to put a trigger on my cylinder 1. You can see the gap right here. It's huge. So it doesn't warrant me to do anything else. There's a problem with that cylinder. We can, you know, sell a teardown or something like that, but our diagnosis is done. Cylinder 6, there's no compression on it. So he needs to decide what he wants to do. Tear it down, not tear it down. It's up to the customer at this point. All right, so there you go. Silverado, relative compression, done. I'll send the customer estimate for a teardown and see what they want to do. Outside of that, we're heading to our last job of the day. It is 2:30 right now, and I'm already in my neighborhood, so I'm close to home, but this one is a lower ball joint. So it's the job we checked out last week where the lower ball joint came apart. Yeah, fun stuff. So we're gonna go take care of that. Should be relatively quick and simple, and that's about it. That'll be done. We'll be in the office. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. There's the bottom portion of it. Literally snapped right in half. So this here, this is what I talk about, right? Granted, this part just failed. But when you got companies out here that are not legal and not insured, let's say they put an inferior part in that they got on Amazon or eBay or something like that, and this happens. She got lucky. She didn't get hurt. But imagine something like this happened and it caused the customer to crash and hurt somebody or kill somebody. Who's going to be liable for that? The insurance or the technician and company that put the part in that wasn't a real company, and now they're nowhere to be found because there's no legal recourse because they're not even a company. They're just some Joe Schmo that bought a part on Amazon and put it in someone's car and screwed it up. Now this isn't what happened here, but I've seen it happen. I've seen parts fail that you buy cheap online, so don't do that. All right, here we are. We're in the office, end of day, same as usual. Today, it's 4:29 p.m. So I'm just got cleaned up. I got to get out of here and go, but I'm going to finish this recording for you real quick. So let's check out our numbers. All right, well, here we are. This is our end of day. 6 jobs, average RO of 217, profit margin of 63.76%. Effective labor rate at 111. We did $1,306 today. That's a profit of $832 and a cost of $473. Not too bad for the day being kind of wonky a little bit in the beginning there. So it definitely helps us catch up a little bit from yesterday's numbers. We know yesterday's numbers were pretty low, but that still lets us down pretty good on the week. We won't have such a successful week as we did last week. We'll have a pretty marginal week. So we got one more day on the week. I'm not real sure what I have on the list for tomorrow, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. So outside of that, that's really all I got for you today. It was a rough day, but we'll get through it. Tomorrow, I think my wife is going to be there again. I'm not really sure about that, but we will see how it goes. So if you got more questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to go follow me on TikTok. We do appreciate all of your comments and likes on all of our videos. It definitely helps me keep going and do this because now I know that there's a lot of you out there that really want to see how this is done. So make sure you like and subscribe and leave some comments below, and we'll see you on the next ride along.